A lot of young entrepreneurs find it quite difficult to deal with their first failures, Ronnie. Take us through your journey. I mean, which instances of where you might have started something and it didn't quite work out that way, and how important is it in the life of an entrepreneur to be able to accept and to deal with failure?
I think when we ask ourselves how important it is, almost like it sounds like we have a choice. I mean, there's no question about the fact that you're going to fail multiple times. Do I have recollections that are cathartic in the way when one failed, one felt this was the end of the world? Yeah, I think there would be. And with every failure, you've kind of digest that a little bit more. But I think that's where a little bit of the earlier point that I make is how all in are you? The problem of failure today is twofold. One is everyone is so fearful of the failure that 9 out of 10 times they're not even walking past the gate. The second one is when you're so fearful of failure and you let that comatose you, then it's really is the first time it's going to be a failure. So I think while people are very scared about saying I might fail, there's a lot of pressure that goes with there also, right? There's a performance pressure. Your parents have told you why don't you go get a job, and now you've stepped out in your career, or there's a different crossroad. It's not just always about raising funding. There's an incredible amount of media and social and perception pressure that did you raise the right kind of funding because somebody else is doing that. So this constant pressure of performance in itself puts so much at stress in terms of failure, because otherwise your failures will be there. You did something wrong. But today the high profileness is what I think people are more concerned about than the actual part. It's no longer something that you can keep within and look at that. If I started something in a manufacturing operation, didn't work, it wouldn't be breaking news anywhere else. Today, people raise money, they get a headline, then they fold up, then they get a headline, and therefore it's a very public failure. And I think that's more spooky for a lot of people, but they don't have a choice, because if you stepped up and you're doing the PR and you want to be high profile, your ups will be high profile and your downs will be 3x more high profile.
That really does sound scary. But you've had a long career, Ronnie. Who are the people or peers, I should ask, who you have or hold in great regard or respect, and who are the business people you really admire in India?
Not to sound facetious, I think for me it's not been any individual, and the reason I say that today is because I think everyone is not who they seem to be. If somebody says, oh, I'm looking at you, Ronnie, and for you, and I'm saying, look, you don't know everything about me. You can't take one facet and two facets and then say, I want to emulate yourself around myself. So I've been always a little cautious about this context, because everyone has got a different facets to them. So I would say different facets for different people in many ways. I think the Parsi community and some of the leaders we've had there, where you kind of look at, it's been inspirational for me, where you look at impact and you look at, the right value systems along with creating businesses at scale and being highly successful is one. The second one is where there's absolute raw ambition, where you will tear through everything else for market, for really being highly successful and creating that. And I think sometimes that stirs you up. Is that the best thing in isolation? No, but it stirs you up. So I think I'm a chapters guy. I'm not a whole book guy. I like to look at different facets of people and gleam on them to see what works for me. Because any one person to idealize today in the 21st century, I think is a little tricky and tough. Because what you see is not what you get, not because the other person is not that. It's because everyone is multifaceted.
Okay, you've provided me the perfect last question then. Give me a chapter that nobody knows in your book. I mean, what's the one thing that you would say nobody knows about Ronnie Screwvala?
I think there'd be a lot that they wouldn't. But I think people, I'm very reclusive by nature. I'm extremely reclusive by nature. I can be extremely thoughtful sometimes, though everyone may feel I'm being impetuous. And I actually do enjoy and thrive on the multiple impacts that one is creating. So I think for me, a lot of people look at that and look at time management, and that everyone feels, for example, that you need to be super busy. And I think that's not the case. I think I enjoy different facets of life. So I guess that's what it would be. Not the most exciting last answer.
No, but it's been an exciting conversation, which I've enjoyed a lot, Ronnie, and I thank you very much for it. Great luck for the future, and thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.